We're pretty lucky to live in a country and a province where healthcare and social services are generally quite accessible. And for English speakers living in a minority situation here in Quebec, well, it's that much more important that we get access to the services that we need. And today, we're going to look at a couple of programs that I'm sure are going to pique your interest. Hi there, and welcome to a new episode of About Townshippers. Now, in this series, we highlight the organizations and the individuals that work both with and for the English-speaking communities of the beautiful Eastern Townships of Quebec. Hi there, my name's Ed Humphrey, and I'd like to share with you a good old-fashioned chinwag that I recently had with Lisa Payne, another one of my colleagues at Townshippers Association. Now, just as expected, she provided some great information on some really interesting health and social service programs that are available to English speakers in the Brome-Missisquoi and the Haute-Yamaska regions. So you may want to take some notes. Well, good afternoon, Lisa.
Hi, Ed. How are you?
I'm doing really good. I'm glad to be with you today.
Good.
So you and I are colleagues at the Townshippers Association, but interestingly enough, I work out of the Lennoxville office, you work out of the Knowlton office, and we kind of wear different hats. Now, you are an NPI agent with the Eastern Townships Partners for Health and Social Services, which is quite a mouthful. So maybe you could explain to us what you do. What's your role in Townshippers?
Sure, of course. So Agent Payne reporting from home today, as we all are working from home these days. So an NPI agent, NPI is Network Partnering Initiative, and we fall under the umbrella of the CHSSN, which is Community Health and Social Services Network. So there are NPI coordinators and different organizations in Quebec who belong to this wonderful network. And what we do, our mandate is to partner with other community organizations to help them provide services in English to the English-speaking population, perhaps better their current services, or even reach out to a population that maybe they were underserving or just didn't really know there was a need for. Yeah, we focus on health and social services while doing that.
So there's kind of Lisa Paynes all over the province.
Essentially, yes, in different organizations. There are NPIs all over. There's an NPI, for example, there's 2 or 3 of them in the Gaspé, in the Île-de-la-Madeleine, in Quebec City, and all sorts of places. Yep.
Okay, and now the services that or the projects or initiatives that you work on, are they demographically oriented?
Usually, I'd say so. Our different funders kind of have a focus on what it is they're trying to tap into. So a lot of our activities and a lot of the events that we partner with different folks on really do focus on one demographic in particular. But we, for example, Maggie and I work together in the Knowlton office, and I sort of take on the 0 to 5 young families as well as the senior citizens. And then Maggie kind of does the youth portfolio. So yeah, we find it better to be able to zero in that way. We don't break it up geographically. Our area here serves the Brome-Missisquoi and Haute-Yamaska area, and Maggie and I kind of break it up demographically more than geographically.
Now, is there any spillover there? Do you have any people that take advantage of the programs in which you work? Do you have any people coming from other MRCs, or is it basically Haute-Yamaska and Brome-Missisquoi?
It's pretty much Haute-Yamaska and Brome-Missisquoi. As you know, however, the there's the health regions, and then there's sort of the sanitary regions, right, where the cutoffs are a little different. So sometimes there's some gray areas, but that's a good opportunity for us to communicate with other MPIs and make sure that, we're really serving the territories that need to be served and we're not forgetting anybody.
Okay. Now, you guys have quite a few programs that you're working on. There is one in particular that I'm kind of interested in. Now,
Sure.
Of course, we're getting really used to all this video conferencing. And as I say in all these interviews, we're all Zooming.
Yes, we are.
these days. But there is a project that has been using this technology for a while. And if I'm not mistaken, that's the CHEP program, or Health Matters program.
So Health Matters is a program that usually is done face-to-face, and it's about once a month. We partner with the Avante Women's Group here over in Bedford, and we bring together groups of women typically to listen to a CHEP DVD. Now, CHEP is Community Health Education Program, and what that is a live video conference that happens at the NUHC in Montreal with a health professional and some animators who discuss various health topics. Now, as an MPI, I can bring in a whole bunch of people and we can video conference that live. We can ask questions when they're actually taping, so that's wonderful. But if you don't have a chance to do that, they send out the DVD of the recording, which is fantastic. And then so we take those DVDs and that's what we show. Now, because we usually do it in person and it's a lovely outing for people, they come, they listen. We often have invited guests to answer some questions. We have a nice lunch, it's lovely. And because we can't do that these days, we had to think outside the box and we started doing it on Zoom. So send a link out to people, they join us on Zoom, same kind of thing. We have some health professionals. We try to get some relevant folk online with us as well. And it's been great. We've had really good participation. It does not replace the face-to-face. I mean, you just can't, right? Like there's the value in meeting people face-to-face and really learning what their struggles are sometimes and what their challenges are with the healthcare system. You know, it's kind of priceless, but this is a good second runner-up for now.
Yeah, I would agree. And even our meetings, I mean, we're doing everything online, and even our staff meetings, there's 13 of us and we've just been doing it virtually, you know, as you know, since for the last 2.5, almost 3 months now. So it's a new reality.
It is.
And now that we're going to jump to contact information a bit later, but just, I don't want to forget this. For the Health Matters activities, can they get information for that on the website, or where do someone find out about that?
So what we do is we've been sort of choosing a topic, and we've been doing one every 2 weeks. We're partnering again with Avante, but also with the Yamaska Literacy Council. Sometimes we run the CHEP DVDs out of their satellite office in Waterloo. So that kind of takes care of our Yamaska folks. So what we've done is we're bringing both of them together. And we make a poster and we're like, this is what's happening. And if you want the link, email us. So the best way to know really is to check our Facebook page. Always email me if you have any questions. Normally I'd say give us a call at the office, but please don't. We're not there. We're not answering that.
Nobody's around here.
No, we're not taking those messages, but yeah, lots of ways of finding out what's happening for sure. Our website's also really good. We have a new website at Townshippers, and it's really user-friendly.
Okay. And now, whenever I'm talking about Townshippers, I always talk about bridge building, and that we're not a service provider per se.
Correct.
Could you touch on that a bit?
Sure. So, you know, as you mentioned, Townshippers' mandate isn't to actually, you know, come up with activities or host any activities or provide any services on our own. So the NPI, the P part, the partnering is very, very important. That's really our mandate, right? So we're doing a lot of, you know, bridge building and a lot of, you know, getting out there and making contacts and finding out what organizations are out there that can serve our community. And then, you know, we kind of buddy with them a little bit and make friends and be like, hey, you know, I think maybe some English-speaking people could use this service, especially if it's, you know, a health and social service. And most people, certainly most organizations are very willing, and they just haven't really considered that perhaps they could open it up a little bit more, you know, especially if they have the staff, you know, the bilingual staff that's able to, and we can help them do that. And then we can partner on different activities. So it's a lot of fun.
And it's always exciting. There's always something new. That's what I'm finding. There's always something new every week. There's a new possibility for a partnership or working alongside another organization. Or well, speaking of partnerships, there's another interesting initiative that's kind of sprouted up in your area, if I'm not mistaken. It's in Knowlton.
Yes.
And it's called the Men's Shed. Now, what's that all about?
So the Men's Shed is an organization that's been around for a while. I believe it originated in Australia. And how it got its roots really was staggering to me. I didn't realize this statistic, but the highest suicide rates are for men over 50. And I thought that was very striking to me. I just hadn't really considered. And when you sort of look at the research and maybe some of the markers of why, it kind of makes sense. So that's how it originated. It came out of, there are these men who most retired at this point. Maybe they find themselves by themselves without hobbies and that sort of thing. So it's kind of a social group that brings these men together who often are very talented, who have, who come from different backgrounds and who all complement each other really well. And it's kind of like a social group, but they do stuff. So they do a lot of volunteering in the community. It really gives the men a sense of purpose. So the Brome Lake edition was founded last year, I believe, and the community's just been really, really responsive. We try to get information out there using our radio show on CIDI 99.1 FM, and we had Men's Shed on, and I'm going to say every now and again we get feedback from our radio shows, but we had a lot of emails and telephone calls requesting more information about the organization and how everybody thought it was really great. So kudos to them for putting that together.
Now, so you guys basically are helping get the word out, helping them in their promotion and talking about it, and so that's what.
Also, but because we have so many different connections, as you know, with different organizations. So for them, they wanted maybe some more information on wills and living wills and that sort of thing. So through our contacts at Educadua, I was able to get them a speaker to come down and give them a presentation, a live presentation to these group of men. There was about 45 people in attendance. So that was really great. So I think and how I approached him about it was any way we can help, and we do have a lot of contacts. So if there's a project they want to do and they can't really figure out or how to navigate maybe some of the tape, give us a call and we'll see what we can do.
Okay. Yeah. Wow, that sounds, I'd never heard of it before. So
I hadn't either.
I think I'm right in that age.
Almost.
Slice. Now, of course, you've been mentioning a bit about the different programs and initiatives you guys are involved in, and health is a huge sector, and we're talking more about it during this health pandemic, of course. Sure. Now, for people living in the Beaume-Missisquoi-Yamaska area that may have some mental health questions or concerns, or where would you direct them to?
Sure. So we partner with quite a few mental health organizations in the Beaume-Missisquoi and Yamaska area. So give us a call, and depending on what it is you're looking for, if it's support, if it's an alternative therapies, we work with a great organization called LAFAR, and LAFAR in English means the lighthouse, and it's a group that focuses on alternatives to medication and that sort of thing, and really becomes a group that explores different ways of dealing with mental health crises or issues. So it all depends. Mental health really is a very, very big spectrum. So it all depends what your needs are, but we're definitely here to point you in the right direction and take advantage of our connections too.
Okay. And we talked a bit earlier about not necessarily being service oriented, but people can, not when it's not the pandemic, people can knock on the door, and there is the expressions. The different sort of books and things from the townships that you guys have at your office, and we have at our office as well. So what's all that about, the expressions or expressions kiosk?
So if you're a local artist or author or anything like that in the arts that Townshippers can help promote, especially if you're a local person who's just written a book, you can contact our office manager over in Lennoxville and get involved in our expressions program. And basically what we'll do is we'll help sell and promote your materials. In the Knowlton office, for example, when we do have office hours, not now, but when we do have office hours, you're free to come in and have a look at everything we have for sale by these amazing local artists and authors.
We have a tendency to underestimate the number of artists and the amount of English-speaking talent that we have here in the townships. I know the expressions counter or présentoir that we have at Lennoxville, the amount of novels and books and
Yeah.
paintings, it's amazing.
Yeah, great. If you're any kind of history buff and you're looking for some information on the historical Eastern Townships, hitting up an expressions counter, like you said, is will really open your eyes, I think, to some things. You can also, on our website, there is an expressions tab, and you can order things online as well. So that's great information for this, for what's happening right now. Don't have to leave your house. Go ahead and peruse it online, and you'll find some great stuff.
Okay, and it's obvious to see that the programs that Townshippers are involved in are very wide-reaching, and like we said earlier, we all kind of wear different hats and are involved in different programs, and there are certain programs that are accessible to students. And we're coming up to the end of the year, kind of a weird end of the school year. And we're already trying to figure out how things are going to work for next year, be it at the primary, elementary, secondary, or university levels. Now, maybe I was wondering if you could speak a bit on the McGill Bursary Program.
Sure. So the purpose in that is to provide it's a financial incentive to students in various Quebec regions who have the appropriate English and French skills, who are pursuing full-time studies in the area of health and social services outside of the region, which is the Category 1, or within the region. Okay, so you need to be from a Quebec region, either studying outside the region or remaining inside the region, in a government recognized school institution, educational institution. And the recipient has a commitment, however. So for each bursary awarded, the bursary recipient has to commit to working in his or her home region following the successful completion of their studies. So the idea in Townshippers working with the McGill Bursary Program is to really make sure that we're helping our health and social services students, because we need them. We know we need them, especially after this pandemic. We know we need more people in that area. So this is to promote that, but it's also to make sure that they're going to come back to their home regions.
And I think there's tons of jobs in the health sector, or a huge variety of jobs in the health sector.
Oh my goodness!
We tend to think about nurses and doctors and physiotherapists, but I mean, there's mechanical engineers, there's
X-ray technicians. I mean, you name it. With our catalog we have is like this thick. It's just, I mean, you can choose from so many. Obviously, not every educational institution will offer those programs, but if you're looking for something, you'll find it. Okay. Do apply. If this applies to you and you're a young person or an old person even, going back to school, going into any of these fields of studies, why not? Why not just apply? It's a really generous amount of money.
So that's for the younger and the younger at heart. Right?
Oh, thank you. That is a much better way of putting it than young person versus old person.
Well, look, so there's a lot of stuff going on. So we just touched on a few of the programs. The Health Matters is a really interesting. You see, it's a very popular program as well. We have the Men's Shed, which is not a Townshippers initiative, but it is an initiative in the Brome Lake area. We have the McGill Student Bursary Program as well. You guys have your 0 to 5 activities.
So the 0 to 5 stuff has really taken off as well. And that, I think it's important to know that Townshippers really runs with the research, right? Sometimes we're even the ones who are, having that research done, and we're involved in it as well at different levels. And what really comes out of the 0 to 5 research is really that Anglophones fall in the 0 to 5 age group. Anglophones fall in a vulnerable spot. It kind of looks like it might even be a vicious circle of their parents maybe being, underemployed, maybe undereducated, maybe, falling quite a bit lower on the socioeconomic scale. And those children going into kindergarten aren't doing as well as their Francophone counterparts. So we have quite a significant amount of funding to help us partner with other 0 to 5 organizations, but you also partner with people to get some programs running. So one thing we're doing is putting these amazing, they're going to be great, it's a school transition package. And so we're doing 100 of these bags that's going to have a whole bunch of stuff in it to help children really be a little bit more ready for kindergarten. So if your child hasn't held scissors before, there's going to be some scissors in there and some activities, like how to control your scissors, pencils and Play-Doh to work on fine motor. So those are going to be great. And again, this is all thanks to our funders make it possible. So we have a chapeau to them.
Okay. Well, I could use one of those kits after spending the day, Zooming and doing video conferences all day. That would be a great relaxing.
Yeah, there's gonna have books in it. It's gonna be great. The other thing we're doing to help the parents of some of these children is we're offering a parent course, and now this usually happens in person as well. However, with the times, we've also taken to Zoom for that, and the participation has been good too. So we're really pleased about how people are adapting. I'm not surprised. We're all quite flexible and adapt well, but I'm very pleased with how the participation has been so good.
And the English-speaking community throughout the townships is known for that. It's resilience, it's creativity, it's a stick-togetherness. If you can say it that way.
I think you just did.
Well, look, with all the programs that you're working on, it'll be important that we put up all the contact information. We've done it throughout the segment. I'll put up at the end as well. So I'll put up the Townshippers website, the Facebook page, or your email, I guess, would be a good idea as well.
Perfect. Yes, please. Yep. And if it's not me you're looking for, I'll make sure you get to the right place.
Okay, and so no knocking on the doors, during the pandemic, but hopefully we can do an update, in the near future where everything will be back to somewhat normal, and
a new normal.
Yeah. So drop in hours, that type of thing. So. Yeah. Well, Lisa Payne, you are the NPI agent with Eastern Townships Partners for Health and Social Services, and you work in the Townships Association team. And I'm really pleased to have you as a colleague, and I'm pleased that you took the time to have a chin wag with me today.
Anytime, Ed. It's always a pleasure having a chat with you. And being Agent Payne has just never felt so good.
Well, we couldn't finish it on a better note then. We have a great day.
You too. Thanks so much, Ed. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Well, I hope you had a chance to take some notes. And if not, well, the great thing about these clips is that you can watch them again and again and again. And of course, you can share them as well. Now, if you'd like more information on anything that Lisa and I talked about today, well, please check out the links that we showed you throughout the video. And you can contact us through our website and through our email. And you can also find us on Twitter and on Facebook. My name is Ed Humphrey. Thank you very much for being with us today. And I hope that we'll see you again soon for another episode of About Townshippers. Take care.